back to the end of another week. It is obviously windy and wet and maybe not obviously very cold outside. So for this week, we're gonna do something else because I don't want to be outside. Okay, so since it's been so miserable outside, I'll show you the kitchen. Yes, it is funny, not funny that we are still waiting on our cabinet doors there, but it is what it is. So yeah, this week, since it's been miserable, I've actually been spending a lot of time in the kitchen. So you can see I harvested a bunch of persimmons. These are like the Fuyu variety, so they're kind of the ones that look like apples, and they're firmer. And I like to eat them raw, but as they get older, they get squishy. So I've been finding other ways of using them. So I think I mentioned last week that I was going to start a persimmon wine. So that's what I have going in here. And if I can open it for you, yeah, you can see. So there's the persimmon must stuff, and it's got some sugar and the yeast and all the stuff to make wine. So this I started a couple days ago, and it will kind of ferment in this bucket for about a week. And after a week, I think I do other things to it. So eventually we will test out some persimmon wine. It does take like 3 to 4 months for the whole process. But I've also I ordered several of these like unbreakable airlock containers. I used to have bigger ones when I lived in California, but I couldn't bring any of those here. And since I don't really know what I'm doing, I figure I'll start with small ones out here until I kind of get back with the program and figure out what I need. Plus, ultimately, like I don't have a source right now for a bunch of fruit. These persimmons came from one of his parents' places that have a persimmon tree. And then his sister has a fig and apple tree, so she gave me figs, which I turned into this fig liqueur. So the figs and the vodka had been macerating for a while, and then I basically just mixed them with sugar to taste and popped a bit of vanilla bean in there. So that's what these are. I'll get to the other ones, but from the fig leftovers, I actually made like a spread. It's not a jam. I would call it more of a fig spread. I still need to water bath process those, but that's what these are. These are the leftovers of the nasturtiums. So I did the same thing with nasturtiums. And so here is the nasturtium liquor that ended up, and then basically all the nasturtium flowers that I used to make the liquor, I put into the jelly, the jam over there. So that's nasturtium. This is just the extra of the fig liquor. This one is calendula. So this one is another flower, those yellow flowers. So here it's called Susi, but this is the calendula liquor. And again, I did the same thing. So I made calendula Susi jam preserves. This is actually really tasty. I really like this one. So that turned out pretty cool. And this is spiced apple. So his sister also has an apple tree. And unfortunately, we harvested a bunch of apples right before I went back to California for a visit, and I didn't do anything with them. And by the time I got back, a lot of them had gone off. But there were enough for me to make this one batch of spiced apple liqueur and it is so good. This one's really tasty. But I only had enough to make like one bottle of some of these, and then this is a tasting bottle for the fig, which I had plenty of, so I made lots of fig liquor. So for the holidays, the family's going to be able to taste the fig liquor, and then if they like it, they can take a bottle home. And I'm also giving out the jams that I made, and I'm hoping to make fudge, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. What else is going on? In here, we finally got the curtain up on the door because this door had a lot of air coming through it. This is the one that has like the glass thing here that we can open. And basically like there was a bunch of air coming in through here. So we got some like super insulation stuff that we put in there. We also lined like the door itself with insulation, but then we also got this like insulated curtain to go over the whole thing. So that got put up, but I need to hem it. So that's happening later. What else can I show you? Oh, this week, since I haven't had a lot of stuff, well, I haven't been working a lot outside. I've been inside watching YouTube and stuff like that. So I've started saving. Last year, I actually started saving these just to make little greenhouses for myself. But I like watched a thing on winter sowing, which isn't winter planting. It's just the theory is that seeds, unless they're tropical, seeds probably won't die if it freezes. So you can actually create these containers, and they make them out of milk, the plastic milk jugs in the States. But here, here we don't have like quote unquote real milk. Here everything is like this brick stuff. So it's like UHT, ultra high temp, pasteurized, shelf stable milk. So I guess the benefit is that it's shelf stable. So I can buy a whole bunch of milk and it just hangs out on the counter. The downside is that I don't have those 1 gallon jugs that people in the States would use for winter sowing. So I'm gonna try out these. They said basically the bottom with the soil has to be like about 4 inches. This is only 3.5, but I figure a half an inch probably isn't going to kill me. And the idea is basically you fill it all the way up. You put some holes in the bottom for drainage. You plant your seeds. You secure this onto it. And then, of course, you have to put it somewhere where it's not going to, in our case, fly away with the wind. So I'll have to think about that. But basically, you sow it now, regardless of whether or not it's freezing, because it is freezing. And the idea is that the seeds are in there, you keep it moist, and then they'll just germinate when it's time for them to germinate. So in the spring, when things warm up, like in theory, you'll see things popping up. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and try this winter sowing technique with a few things. One of them being my persimmon seeds. So I've gone ahead and saved, got a bunch of persimmon seeds that I'm going to go ahead and try to grow. They do need apparently the cold stratification, so I need to start that soon so that they get their couple of months of cold in before they germinate in the spring. But yeah, maybe eventually I'll have here's my little avocado that's doing its thing, and I have another avocado. And then I don't think I showed you, but the neighboring cornfields, when they harvested the corn, kicked out a bunch of corn kernels. So I actually have corn kernels that had germinated in the garden, and I brought them in here just for fun, because that's what I do. Here's my ginger bug. It doesn't have a name. Some people name their ginger bug, but this is my ginger bug, and he hangs out here. And then when he's ready, I get to do batches of ginger soda or ginger ale or whatever. So this is my batch that I made today. So it's labeled for today. The recipes that I've been following do it where they bottle it at this stage, and then they have to like pop the bottles every single day to gas it. But I'm going to try it in here this time. So it's got an airlock, which means it'll just gas itself over the next couple of days while the starter culture eats up the sugar in here. And then basically once it gets dry enough to my taste, which is pretty dry, then I can go ahead and bottle it and then let it wait a few more days out on the counter to build up its carbonation. But in here, I can actually show you, this is from my old batch. So this is my last batch of ginger ale, and you can see it kind of settled on the bottom there. And if I open it, you can hear that it has carbonation. But yeah, so it's basically like a naturally fermented drink. So yeah, you can't really tell too much of the carbonation, but it is actually lightly carbonated. You can kind of see the fizzy bits a little. It tastes really good. I like it a lot. So yeah, so every couple of weeks I get to start a new batch. So I'm starting that batch. And then when I bottle it, I go ahead and just bottle it in these plastic Pellegrino bottles. Some people bottle it in like the flip top things, but I'm always concerned that if I do that, like they might explode, or when I open them, they're just gonna like gas out. So I don't do that, but I might in the future, because apparently you're not supposed to reuse these plastic bottles over and over and over again. Mr. B decided to come say hi. Hi, Mr. B. But yeah, so that's what's happening. It's Christmas week. So I think I have 2 more liqueurs to do. I have some more lemon verbena, and I have lemon balm. So I'll try to get those done in time for our like holiday liquor tasting. I'm working on the ginger beer, which should be ready for the fridge later. I'm hoping to make some fudge, and I'll leave you with Mr. B. He says, bye. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, because I won't talk to you until after that. So I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you next week. Bye.